are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Anthwood Movie Mania. And we are live because it is interview time with my special guest today, from Crime and Punishment, the Alphabet Killer, to the smash hit horror Wrong Turn. I would like to give a warm welcome to the channel, director Rob Schmidt.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Anthony.
Yeah, like I said before, a massive thank you for coming on. Taking the time out your day, like, it always means the world to me. Like, people like yourself just come onto a channel like myself. That's not that big, but I'd like to give just a massive thank you for coming on again.
Yeah, of course.
Right, so my first question of the day is, how's your day going so far?
I'm in the woods in Ireland, and it's I think I didn't see a single person yesterday.
Right.
I'm way out in the woods in Clare County, Ireland, and it's I wouldn't say it's not joyous, but it's beautiful, and it's I'm not scared to be here like people were in Wrong Turn. I don't know if you can see.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
that's
deep
what I'm
forest
looking
right there.
at. Yeah. So, I think a day in the woods when you're not being attacked is a good day.
Yeah, I think any day is a good day when that's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Right, so growing up, like, watching films, did you have like a favorite genre that you used to love to watch, or did you just love like everything, every type of film?
Yeah, no, that's a cool question, and do you mind? It might take a minute for me to answer it.
Go for it. Yeah, just take your
Yeah,
time, think about it.
yeah. I was born, and the first part of my childhood was out in the country, and in the deep countryside, and we didn't have a TV for a stretch of time, and then my dad, he had a relative who had a motel, and they had black and white TVs, and he got into fixing them, and so we had a TV, but we weren't allowed to watch it, and then and then I started going to school, and there was some people watched Tarzan. We could watch public broadcasting, which was like science shows and things like that. And then some kids at school watched Tarzan. There were all these, I think they might have originally been in movie theaters. They were like maybe 1 hour long. I might be wrong about that. Like, they were called serial features, but they were like, it was like a show with Tarzan and Jane and stuff like that. And I got into watching that, and my father was a combat veteran from World War II, and he had a lot of anxiety. He had a lot of anxiety, and like he would flip out, and but because he was a combat veteran, I was kind of fascinated by that, and I got into watching war stories, war movies and things on TV, which were like not good ones. And I didn't actually get to go to a theater and see a movie until I was I think I was 7, and it was I don't remember the movie very well, but it was about a kid who runs away into the woods and lives in a tree. I think it was called My Side of the Mountain, maybe. And it was, yeah, I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's a remarkable movie. I've never met anyone that's been like, that's my favorite movie. But yeah, that was my first experience in a movie theater, and then my parents sort of split up. They didn't get divorced, but my mom got a job in another state, and my mom got a job in New York, and we moved to New York, where I lived a lot of the time. And some kids wanted to go to a movie, and so my second movie was, The Son of Blob, the old horror film, The Son of Blob. Blob, Blob was the
Yeah.
original. Son of Blob was just Blob got reheated, literally. Uh, but, if you've seen the movie, you know why that's funny. But um, you know, at my age, that was really terrifying, watching that movie because it's about this thing that is just a liquid puddle, but that appears to have an evil spirit to it or personality, and it moves to sorry, I'm killing a mosquito. It moves towards people and attaches to people, and when a tiny bit of the gunk gets on you, it starts to consume your flesh, and it eventually consumes your whole body. And then the blob goes after other people that your loved ones and whatnot. So it appears to like have some kind of connection to
Mm.
uh As I'm saying it, I'm realizing, did you see It Follows? You must have seen It Follows.
Yeah, that's with the where they have sex.
If
They
you
have
if you
sex
have
done and they
if you have y
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It passes on
yeah,
to
if
the
you have
next
sex
bed.
with yeah. It worked like that, which is kinda it wasn't only, this was the '70s, so it wasn't sex driven, but, I was really terrified, like, it was traumatizing to see that movie.
Mm.
It was traumatizing to see that movie, and, but I will say this, that, yeah, I went to see that movie, and I would get so scared sometimes I would go out to the, lobby, and I had a little bit of money to get snacks, so I would go out in the lobby and get a snack, and then when I had enough courage, I'd go back into the theater, and I'd watch till I was, like, terrified again, which actually I think it's worse, right, when you don't look at it? Yeah, it's worse. A friend of mine actually, something really bad happened to one of their kids, and they talked to a psychologist. It didn't happen to their kid, it happened to one of the adults in the kid's life, and, they told the kids exactly what had happened. And,
Mm.
what the psychologist had told them is that if they don't know what happened, they'll imagine it and it will be worse, you know? And, yeah, and so my going out to the lobby, like, I thought I was taking care of myself, but it was making it worse? Which it's a horror film, right? So it's supposed to be fun, and it just made it scarier. But, yeah. So after that, I had this I had a relationship with movie theaters where they were the place where I could be safe and I could go anywhere. Like I could go on adventures, I could go into horrors, I could go into wars, I could go into when the remake of Sorcerer came out, that's like three trucks full of TNT that have to cross the jungle, and they blow up one by one. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's awesome.
Mm.
It's all about tension, and I could go there, and I would be safe actually because I was in the theater and it was like this dark, comfortable seat, safe place. And sometimes I would actually go to I would definitely I would go to the movie theater and watch whatever was there without knowing. I never read reviews and I didn't know what movies were about before I went to them. And so I would see anything. And sometimes I would actually fall asleep during the movie and that would be okay. It was just because that was a place where I felt safe in this kind of scary world,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, that's do you know what? Right, that's exactly how I feel. Like the cinema is my one of my favorite places to go. Like it's just I don't know whether it always has been. 'Cause it's just whether the excitement of actually just going there and walking through the doors, getting your seat, and then just getting ready. The excitement of like waiting for the film to come on, but then as soon as them lights go down, then you're just immersed in that screen, and that's something I've always like loved to do. I still do. I still love going to the cinema and just I still always get that buzz from it.
Yeah, that's a gift, Anthony. I think that like you have that in your life, you know.
Yeah, well, I've got a son now, so like I get to drag him along as well now, so I get to watch whatever.
Yeah. That just reminded me of like a just this is uh an unnecessary tangent, but when you said you have a son now that you take to the theater, I uh about 6 months ago I got pulled over in Italy for speeding, you know, and the cops that pulled me over figured out who I was because of my occupation on my passport. And then one of them said that when he was a little boy, his dad took him to see Wrong Turn in the theater. And I was like, yes, I'm not going to get in trouble, you know. But yeah, that experience of like taking your kids to the theater and sharing that with them, it's such a great thing. Such a great
Yeah.
thing.
Right, so were there like saying as we were growing up, were there any certain films that stuck with you that might have given you a different look on how things are perceived, like in film or in life in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. And by the way, I need to qualify my answer about um, the other side of the mountain because there was actually my parents. We lived up at the northern end of Appalachia in the country outside of Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, and they had driven to some conference about something in Florida. You know, it was at a Florida state, and it was me and my mom and my dad and my brother and sister, and we were looking for something to do, or my parents were looking for something to do on like a Friday night at Florida State, and there was a movie playing, and the movie was it was Beauty and the Beast, but the Cocteau version of it, the surrealist black and white version
Mm.
of it, which like I think I didn't count it as a movie that I saw because I saw like 3 minutes of it and like shrieked in terror and made the entire family leave the theater, you know. But it was because there was this, you know, he looked like a werewolf, but I didn't know what werewolves were at that point. And he was like with this beautiful young woman, and he was in this super creepy prison slash castle, and they had like the walls had sconces, you know, with torches, but the
Mm.
arms were real human beings, like coming out of the wall, and it was, you know, it was a really old surrealist movie. They didn't have a lot of budget, and they literally made a set with holes in the walls and had people stand behind it holding the torches. But the effect, at least at my age, was terrifying. You know, that people would be like
Mm.
trapped in stone walls just to like hold torches up for people. And then yeah, and then there was a moment where her father's dying, which is terrifying when you're a little kid. Your dad's dying, and the beast like lets her go back to see her father because he's dying, and she gets to leave the like prison island, and she's at her father's bedside, and he's like they're taking all of his furniture out of his room because he's bankrupt to sell, you know. And
Mm.
he's dying, and she's holding his hand, and she starts to cry. When she cries, rubies come out of her eyes, and the father's like, rubies, like he has rubies in his hands, you know. He's like, rubies, you know, like what the fuck
Mm.
is this? And she says, it's the beast. His power, his power is strong even here. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like I just like lost it at that point. Like like if he can do that there, he's probably in this theater with us, you know, doing evil things. And so yeah, there was that. So I think that was influential. But then you know, I was a kid when Star Wars Episode 4, like the first Star Wars came out, and
Mm.
um I watched that like a lot of times in the movie theater, like a lot of times, like with people, by myself. That was like a really big deal for me. And and then when I was a little older, Apocalypse Now came out, and I watched that a lot. And a thing about that, and a thing about, and I used to like love James Bond, and I love James Bond. Now, here's the thing about that is, my dad wasn't around a lot, and you know, I was getting my I was learning about what a man is and what a man does, not from like a father that has like a job and comes home from work, but
Mm.
from, James Bond and like Captain Willard in Apocalypse Now. And, you know, those guys are, mentally ill, they're sociopaths. And and in terms of James Bond, like that is not a good standard for how to have relationships, it's
Oh, he's the biggest STI walking.
yeah, it's definitively wrong, uh so the ways that movies influenced me were distorted, I think, from what like a lot of people's realities were. Yeah.
Yeah, I love James Bond. Pierce Brosnan is my Bond guy. Like that's
Oh yeah, yeah.
everyone has a Bond guy. Like Pierce Brosnan's man. Like go.
Yeah, with all due respect to Roger Moore, uh, he was the one that I grew up with, and I was like, well, I think Sean Connery is cooler than Roger Moore, but like I didn't get someone like Brosnan. I was, forgive me for this, stuck with Roger Moore, who I admired just because he was James Bond. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I like Pierce Brosnan. I mean, he's been in some great films. Pierce Brosnan, like Dante's Peak, that's up there with one of my favorite like disaster. Apart from Twister, that's my other favorite disaster film. Like natural disasters, Dante's Peak for me.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I hear you. Daniel Craig is not bad either, I think,
No,
though.
I like
I think
Daniel Craig. Yeah, I
yeah,
like him as well.
he's
Like Casino
yeah,
Royale, that's a good. That's like a really good one as well. And Skyfall and like the rest of them, like a
yeah,
really good
yeah,
film. But
yeah. He yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, but that's not a good. James Bond is not a good role model for us.
yeah, no, that's true. That's true. right. Right. So going to university, did you want to be like did you want to learn how to direct, or did you have like another part of the business mind that you wanted to learn, or did you just want to learn like everything in general?
Yeah. So okay. So growing up, my parents were socialists, and my grandfather had been he was a union organizer for the retail shoe salesmen in New York, and so I had this idea growing up that I wanted to be a labor organizer. And but I liked photography. Like we had a dark room, a chemical dark room in our house, and because it's work that my dad did, but we had a chemical dark room in our house, and I grew up with cameras and then early video cameras, and I always really loved that. But I was like, I'm going to be a union organizer, and then the school for that, um, I got deferred for a year, and I got a partial scholarship to SUNY Purchase, which is like it's the state uh, art school in New York. It used to be anyway, and it was like the place where if you didn't have money for NYU, you went, and but I I got a partial scholarship, so I went there, and then when I was there, I did a lot of photography, and I realized that I didn't want to, like, the labor movement in the U.S. was just collapsing at that point. Like the working class was getting slaughtered, and I I had this moment of clarity where I was like, if I become a labor organizer, I'm gonna be like alcoholic and die of a heart attack by the time I'm like 50, because it's just like losing battle after losing battle, you know, for your entire life. And I really love film, and I think maybe it's a mistake to try to change the world because it doesn't seem to have worked out well for people in the past. And I think what I should do is this thing that I love, which is make films and study filmmaking. And so I stayed at SUNY Purchase, and I graduated in filmmaking there. Yeah.
Mm. So when you started making short films, like just it must have been like a great learning curve. Would you not say, like trying to put these things together?
That's a good question, and it's a great question. It's actually a really great question. No one's ever asked me that before. So congrats to you. Yeah, is it a great learning curve? You know, I think, and I think this is true for a lot of people. And if someone's considering getting into it, they should really think about this. Is it started out so innocently, like with making in high school silly videos for class assignments, that it wasn't a daunting learning curve because you made a video and your friends thought it was funny, and then you're with your friends and there's a class assignment. Instead of writing a paper, which I found unbearable to do, can we make a video? And we would make a video, with our friends as actors, and it would be ridiculous and terrible, and but good natured. And so like the class would see it and they would laugh. They don't have to listen to a lecture or like read a book right now. They get to watch a video with their friends in it. And so, if you're making simple stuff, but you're getting positive feedback, it's not a steep learning curve. It's a very gentle learning curve because you make something with almost no stakes. People watch it. There's parts they laugh at. You do more of that. There's parts you see them paying attention to. You do more of that. The parts where they're like looking at their watch or the wall or talking to their friend, you don't do that, So, that was not a steep learning curve. What was a steep learning curve, and I'm not sure what the modern equivalent is, but I came up when we were shooting film, physical film. Like I don't know what it would be in England, but at the time in the US for 35 millimeter film stock, it was $1 a minute. It was $1. I take that back. It was $1 a second. It was $1 a second to shoot film. Yes, it was $1 a second to shoot film. $1 a second, $1 a foot. It gets worse. It was $1 a foot to shoot film, and a foot of film was 16 frames, which was 2/3 of a second.
God.
So like a minute of not your final film, a minute of the take was $60, right? Or more than that, was $90. $90 to try out like a performance. A 1-minute performance cost you $90, and that was a steep learning curve.
God.
That was terrifying. And making mistakes then was like heartbreaking because it'd be like, wow, that was a day of work for me. Like we just blew a day. We just blew my wages for a day.
God.
Yeah.
I suppose like now it's like completely different because everyone can do it on the phones and doesn't cost anything, and like with all the GoPros and everything like that, so it's like completely different ball game now, isn't it? Like
yeah, which is in so many ways great, and in a few ways I've thought about this a bit, Anthony, and there was a thing that I found interesting. There was a stretch where I was doing true crime stuff in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta's like a film center in the U.S. They make like a lot of the Marvel movies there, and Walking Dead, and a lot of stuff like that. And so there were a lot of crews there, and they're younger crews. In New York or L.A., you get crews, and like the department heads are 40, 50 years old. And in Atlanta, often they'll be like in their late 20s or early 30s, And I would ride on the crew vans with those guys and gals, and they would talk about movies from the 80s and 90s with reverence, movies that I was like, that's not a good movie, you know, but but they loved them, and they loved them because they spent so much money making all the technical stuff perfect. You know, they're always in focus, the lighting's always great, the sets are really like impeccably dressed, everyone looks, you know, their costumes are really good, and they work now. You have, even on a giant movie, you have to work so fast and you work nonstop, and the technical quality isn't as strong as it used to be. And you know, honestly, technical quality doesn't matter. Like, there are movies that are super cheap. Like, there's the Dogma #1, the Celebration Festin. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it was probably made for like $100,000, you know, on little cheap handy cams. But the reason it's great is because the performances are great and the story's great, you know. The technical stuff doesn't matter, but the it doesn't matter to make a movie work for me. But the world of media has changed, and people's tastes have changed, and we accept aesthetics that are a lot sloppier than they used to be, you know. I
Yeah,
accept aesthetics.
that's one thing I actually agree with. I'm not a big fan of like CGI. I prefer practical effects.
Yeah.
Like, because like now you can just green screen everything, and it's like it's not really where like when you like see what's actually put into a film compared to just a green screen and like, you know, everything else like that just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I got to work with Stan Winston a lot, and he was a producer on Wrong Turn. I did development with him, and his thing, which is, he was a really smart, talented creator, you know, and his thing was taking organic physical effects and supplementing them with digital, like making the practical effects stronger, smoothing out the edges with digital, which was like a cool idea, you know. But I'll tell you too, a thing that I've been like really, it's been in my head lately. I've been working on a project, and there was a it wasn't the Stephen King version, it was like the Danish version. There's an old TV show, I think you can only get it, like there's a Japanese DVD release of it, but called The Kingdom, about this hospital that was built over like an ancient burial ground that's possessed. And they Udo Kier is in it, I think, also. I can't remember who else is in it, but it's a really, really interesting TV show, like low budget, like horror TV show. And there's a point where someone is possessed. Someone is possessed maybe by a baby or something like that. And then and they're in a hospital room, and then the demon or the possessed baby manifests. And when it manifests as this like big puppet. It's just like a crappy, not crappy, but it's like a puppet some, you know, creative, arty puppet person made in like an hour, you know. But everyone in the scene is like, my fucking God, we're in a room with a demon. And and the thing is like talking to them, and the parts are moving, you know, so it's reacting to their responses. And it's terrifying. Like, that simple, like super cheap effect is terrifying. And I'm trying to figure out how you can do that in a bigger commercial film, you know. I'm sure it's possible. It's been in my head, like, how did they make me so scared of this thing they made out of balsa wood, you know?
Oh, right, so I want to make sure I get this right. With Crime and
Oh, yeah.
Punishment, it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it got nominated and it gained lots of buzz. Like, how must it feel for you that, like, knowing that your work, like with these shorts and getting premiered at Sundance Festival and everything, like, does it make you feel great that you feel like you're doing something right?
You know, I'm very happy to answer that question, and it's not going to be the answer that you think. Yeah, that, I think it was at Sundance 2000, so that's 26 years ago. And that same year, about 3 months later, I got clean from drugs and alcohol. You know, I hit bottom and got clean from drugs and alcohol. And I haven't, you know, knock on wood, I haven't had a drink in 26 years. But I'll tell you that, and it's not, I don't have, like, you know, if you like drinking, drink. It's just like I ran out of drinks because I had too many too early. But my partner and I have this joke. She used to be a door person at a club, and we say we ran out of drink tickets. Like if someone asks if we drink, we say we don't have any more drink tickets. But so I should have, like, at that point in my career, I was very, very fortunate, and I was in fear and terror 24/7, and I couldn't enjoy any of it. Like, there's a famous film critic, Roger Ebert, and he used to have a show at the movies. It's you know that, like, that expression, two thumbs up, like for movies sometimes you see. Yeah, so that's from that show. And there was him and another critic, Siskel and Ebert, and they would each give like a thumb, you know. So like their ratings were 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, and sometimes they'd say, and a really big 2 thumbs up. But so that movie, Crime and Punishment, it was on that show, and they gave it 2 thumbs up, and they said a couple of things they didn't like about it, and that killed me. It killed me because I was like, and like in my head, I was like, they hate this movie. They just did that because they feel sorry for me. Like, like I was completely deluded. Like, and I convinced myself that that they hated the film, and that it was a terrible set. You know, it was a segment about them hating the movie. And I did not. I had a tape of that interview. The studio sent me a tape of that interview, and I did not look at it for something like 5 years. And then I played it back, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's a great review," you know. So yeah, so no, I didn't feel really great about all the things that were happening. And I'll tell you too. There's a thing about working in industry. I have a friend, an old character actor, Michael Ironside. He was in Scanners. He was the villain in Scanners, and he was the villain in Total Recall. If you look him up, he's done. You know who he is. Yeah. So, for a lot of my career, like whenever I would finish a job on the last day of shooting, I would like get a call or a message from Michael. I'd be like, "Oh, it's Michael," and I'd answer the phone. I got used to it after a while, but I would answer the phone last day of shooting, and he would go, "You'll never work again," and he would hang up the phone. And it was funny because that's what I would think on the last day of work. You know, like this one's going to ruin me. Wrong Turn is going to ruin me. Like Crime and Punishment is going to ruin me.
All right. Well, let's get into the smash hit horror Wrong Turn, which you directed. But first off, like, who reached out to you about directing this film?
Yeah, I've told this story in a few different interviews, but I'll try to make a short version of it. After Sundance, I was doing like a lot of meetings. Oh, and this is where that confusion came in. I was doing that we had about my filmography. I was doing a lot. Yeah, I was doing a lot of. You're not the first person to be confused by it. I think it's like an intranet
Down the internet.
But here's why is because I was doing like a lot of meetings, and what I didn't understand is that I was at a good agency, and like the reason I was doing meetings was because the studios are trying to find projects for me to do, you know? And I was like, these people hate me and they will never let me do a movie. I don't know why they're giving me free bottles of water, because you know. But like in my head, I was like that. And I had a meeting, I want to say at Dimension. Is Dimension where Hellraiser was? I can't remember. But
I think so. It's either that or Miramax. Might be. I think it's Dimension. I think, yeah.
I think Miramax might have owned Dimension. Anyway,
Right.
it's all water under the bridge. But I was there and we were talking about projects, and they were like, do you want to do, I don't know what it was, but like Hellraiser 5 was the thing then. They weren't even like, do you want to do that? They were like, as I was going out the door, they were like, hey, we have a Hellraiser we need a director on. Would you like to do it? And I was like, would I? You know, like, I was just really, really excited, like to get to do a Hellraiser, you know, because the first one's so awesome. And Jesus wept. And so I left that interview, I left that meeting, and I called my agent and I was like, hey, they offered me Hellraiser 5. And I was like really excited about that. Like, yeah, I got this. And she was like, Rob, if you do Hellraiser 5, I will not represent you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is they wanted me to do like a, you know, like a big movie and an original movie. And like doing like sequels is not a, you know, it doesn't have the same level of prestige, I guess, you know, it doesn't. Yeah. And yeah, and so, and they'd been giving me stuff that was more drama or like action, like bigger stuff, scripts for that. And I kept telling them I wanted horror, I want to do a horror, you know. And but then after I told Gersh, I was at Gersh, about the Hellraiser thing, they were like, we should find a horror for Rob because he really does want to do one. And I got a bunch of scripts, and one of them was Wrong Turn, you know. So that was how that happened.
So what did you think of the script when you read it then?
You know, honestly, what I thought was that it wasn't special, and it was something that had happened before, and that but it hit all the beats that it needed to hit to be a movie that would work, you know, that you could. One of my mentors is really old, awesome filmmaker, Stuart Rosenberg. He talked about, he made Cool Hand Luke, you know, which is like a great, like historically great movie, and he made some other stuff, but he had this term he would use, Saturday afternoon at the movies. And he would say, you know, sometimes what you're trying to do is make a good Saturday afternoon at the movies movie. And
popcorn movie. Good popcorn movie.
yeah. Like a way to spend a good afternoon. Like part of like the best afternoon last year would be, yeah, and we went to that movie, you know, it was kind of dumb sometimes, but it was awesome. And then afterwards, you know, we went out to the pub, and, you know, like that type of movie. And I was like, I can make this into that, you know. It has all the beats to do it, and I can make a movie that like people can chill out at with their friends and get scared and laugh together, and you know, finish the movie feeling good, and go out afterwards. That was what I thought about it. Yeah, and I'll tell you, there was another thing too. I tried, you know, I love Desmond Harrington, you know, who's the lead in well, Eliza's the lead, but the second lead in Wrong Turn is Desmond Harrington, and I love him, and he's like a great guy. And I initially was trying to get a black kid to play that role, and the studio wouldn't let me. And they said that there's no market for black leads overseas. We won't make money overseas. Yeah, and I was like, highest grossing at that point, highest grossing movie ever in Japan was Night of the Living Dead. And yeah,
Oh,
but they didn't care what, like I said, you know. And I realized afterwards it wasn't that people overseas didn't want to see black actors, it was that foreign salespeople didn't want to see black actors, you know.
oh wow.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm a little teary-eyed thinking about it, but like that was the way the industry was at that point, you know, at the around the early 2000s is
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
yeah,
Eh,
yeah. Yeah, you go.
oh, sorry. Right. So you mentioned Eliza there, like back back in the like early 2000s, like end of the 90s. Like I'm a massive Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. All right, and I, like she was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
And soon as I seen her name attached to this, like I went to pictures and I seen it. Like, what was she like to work with?
Okay, so she's not so different than she is on screen. And and yeah, and I adore Eliza. And like here's the thing about Eliza is so honestly, I've had people die in my life. I've like I've done CPR on somebody who's like, you know, aspirated on me and then died. I've had like crazy shit happen. I jumped out of a plane once and my parachute failed, and I had to untangle it in the air. I had to untangle it in the air. Yeah. And the the hardest thing in my life was my divorce. I got divorced and it was brutal. And one of the things that helped me get through that was Eliza. Like, so uh yeah, yeah. So she's really strong and tough, and she says what she thinks, and
Mm.
she's courageous, you know. She you know, she works. It's funny because we were talking, I think, about I mentioned my dad and didn't mention it, but PTSD before, but she decided not to act anymore. The industry was too toxic for her, and she you know, she has a doctorate, uh and she works in experimental treatment for trauma, like is what she does, like psilocybin and like, you know, different chemical therapies for trauma. uh
Mm.
but she is, you know, she is very outspoken and direct, and she's also she there's a thing that is intangible. Like there are some people, like I mentioned Daniel Craig, and I think Daniel Craig has it, but like Eliza, if you sit across a table from her, you'll be like, Eliza is beautiful. And then over the next 5 minutes, you will fall in love with her. Like she becomes more and more beautiful as you look at her.
Mm.
And she has yeah, she has a charm to her. Like I wish you could meet her in person because you would feel it. Uh
I'd love to. I'd love
I-
to meet her. I'd love to interview her. So, if you want to
yeah, yeah,
throw a
yeah.
shout out, you know, you know.
She won't do any film stuff anymore. I mean, she might at some point, but I've tried to get her to do film stuff, and she's like, no way. Um,
Really.
but I will tell you this about her. Like I when I'm working, I try to like I am a big fan of rehearsals, and I'm a big fan of rehearsing before you even start shooting. And at minimum, I try to get actors to say every line in the script before we're on set, to like sit in front of me and say the line. And then if they have a problem with it, they can tell me about it then, you know, or if they
Yeah.
want to change it, they can tell me about it then. Because, you know, I grew up with that like $100 a minute to shoot your take, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
and on Wrong Turn, we did that a bunch of times. We had 2 weeks of rehearsals, and and there was a scene. It was a scene in the fire station, fire lookout, and the actors were all like, "That this scene's all action, and we're just sitting in a room. We're gonna have to like pretend we're doing all the action, and there aren't very many lines, and we want to skip this scene." And I was like, "No, you can't skip it." They were like, "We really want to skip it," and Eliza was like, "I just want to skip it." And I was finally like, it was the end of the day or whatever. I don't know. I was weak. Like I was weak, and I was like, "Okay, we'll skip it." Then we got to set, and like we built that fire station on like the largest stage. It might have been the largest stage in Canada. It was definitely the largest stage in Toronto. Like we built the forest. Like when they're walking through the trees, that's a set. You know,
Oh, really?
Alicia. Yeah, Alicia. When you were talking about how you like physical effects,
Yeah.
that forest top treetop is a set like that they're walking through, and the fire station is built on a stage in that set, and it was not cheap to do that, and like I don't know, it was considerably more than $100 a minute to be filming that,
Yeah.
and and we start a rehearsal on set on the day, and Eliza goes, "This line is sexist." Like a line she has to say. She says, "This line is sexist." I'm like, "No, it's not sexist." And and she's like, "It is sexist." And I'm like, "Eliza, we went through the script ahead of time. If you didn't like this line, you should have changed it when we were going through it." And she was like, "I didn't realize it was sexist until right now." And and that led to, I think it was like 30 minutes of us not shooting, us not filming that scene,
Oh
while,
God.
while we worked out, yeah, while we worked out how to do the dialogue. And I told you, like, I think I painted a picture of how much anxiety I have, like, I don't have so much now because I'm like in the woods by myself. But
Mm.
losing a half hour on a day like that is like brutal. And but Eliza understood who her character was and the performance that she wanted people to get to see in theaters. And she was not good with the line the way it was, and we
Yeah.
figured out how to change it so it worked. And for whatever it is now, 25 years, people have watched that movie and they've enjoyed her performance. So
Mm.
she was right. She was right, but that's
Mm.
Eliza.
So, like, Wrong Turn is known for its gore. Like, was it fun to shoot? Was it fun to shoot it?
you know it's um it's complicated because there are things about that movie that are super fun, and there are things about making that movie that were super fun, and there were things about making that movie that were brutal. There were like there were 5 different companies funding that movie, and each company had someone on set who wanted to show everybody that they were the most powerful producer. And and that was hard. Like managing all of the executives was hard. It was really hard. It was
Mm.
really hard, and some of them, I'm not going to say his name, but hopefully he'll see this and be scared that I will say his name. Like one of them literally said, "I would never watch a movie like this." Like that and he had contempt for audiences that would watch a movie like that, and he felt comfortable giving me notes on how the movie should be, like while he was bragging about how it was like below him.
Do you
I'll
want
give
to
you
give
a
an?
clue. Yeah, I won't give you a name, but I'll give you a clue. He said it in a German accent. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but like anyone that does any research will figure it out.
Everyone in Germany, bastards.
There are Germans that I have real love for, and my dad was part German. My last name's Schmidt, But anyway, so that part was super hard. Like dealing with those people was brutal. Like getting performances from the actors and getting to like shape that movie and getting to work with Stan Shane Mahan, who like is his guy who built all of that and built like the special effects makeup on the monsters, and that part of it was completely like just a super fun joy.
So. But so I want to ask you this, if it's true or not. But Stephen King said it was his favorite film of that year. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Right. So how does that feel for you to get that praise from Stephen King?
Yeah, it was gigantic. It was gigantic, and you know, for whatever reason, like I grew up with a lot of self-doubt and a lot of I want to use the term like self-loathing. Like I like had a lot of, and I had like some tough shit in my childhood and whatnot, but and so it's often hard for me to hear praise. And it's easier now. Like it's easier now, at 60, it's easier after like years and years of therapy and whatnot. But but I had so much doubt. When I was making Wrong Turn, what I wanted was for the performances to be real and for people to feel like they were in those spaces with those characters. And I think that happened. I think that happened, and so people have like, that cop, like one of his happy childhood memories was his dad taking him to the Scary Movie, which was the movie that we made.
Yeah.
But I could never believe, like when people would say positive things, I could never believe them. Like I could never hold them. Like when they were saying them, I'd be like, yes, that's awesome. But then a moment later, I'd be like, everything is terrible. So Stephen King writing that in a magazine and me having a copy of the magazine was a lot for me. It was like a giant. Really was. It was a great, great thing. It felt wonderful. So thank you, Stephen. Yeah, yeah, and he gave me a couple of titles to adapt. They never happened, but he was awesome. He is awesome, and he's like, yeah, he's just a great man.
Yeah. Oh, well, still, I mean, Stephen King, like what? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you got to direct Right to Die for the Masters of Horror,
Yeah.
with names such as John Carpenter and Tobe Hopper and like other people associated with that series. I mean, that's got to be like, must be an honor to be put among them names for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So, there's a thing. There's a thing I wanted to address in this, and it's related to that. Is that I haven't had the same career as a bunch of my peers. Like I don't spend very much money, and I don't live on, like I don't work a lot. Like I I teach and I write. I teach sometimes, and I write and I try to write, but I don't produce as much content as a bunch of my peers, and part of that is just like that thing that I said about Wrong Turn, like dealing with those people is so hard, and for whatever reason, and maybe the reason is me. I was so anxious to work when I was young that, like, I would take work regardless of who was making it. Like I'd be like, "Oh, Satan is making a movie, I'll do it," and and then I would spend 2 years like dealing with Satan, and you know, and that left a bad taste in my mouth about, like, you know, doing productions. And what I've realized as I've gotten older is, like, I should only work with people that I like, you know. But so consequently, you know, I did Crime and Punishment in Suburbia, and I did Wrong Turn, and I did and I some people could see me as someone capable of making strong horror films, that I was someone who had a sensibility that would be meaningful, you know. And so a lot of the people on Masters of Horror were, like, you know, heroes of mine, like John Carpenter. That when you were asking about movies that meant a lot to me when I was a kid, like, watching John Carpenter movies was giant for me. You know, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China,
Mm.
all of those movies. So getting to be on a series like that as one of those directors was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. You know, those people, their filmographies are considerably greater than my own, you know, and
Mm.
that's just the way life goes,
Mm.
I
Well,
suppose.
so are you working on anything? Like, finally, this is the last question. We are at
Oh,
the end of the question. I know you said you took a step back, but are you working on anything new, like coming up, or are you just taking it easy?
yeah, no, yeah, but I mean, I think from what I've said so far, you might get the impression that you know, I guess I said two different things. Like, I just like staying out in the woods by myself, and also that I have anxiety all the time. But so taking it easy is not exactly what I do. But yeah, I always have, you know, it's funny because I've been trying to figure out, like, you know, AI models, uh and they get better every couple of months, so they change, so you can't really figure them out. But
Mm.
I just one thing that they do that's really great is sort. I can go through all of my emails and my project folders and make a database of all of my projects, you know.
Mm.
And I think for every major production I've done, I have like 20 projects that didn't get done, didn't get made, literally. And um and you know, and then I have new ones that are, like, actively in development now. Uh so, you know, I expect I will make another feature film before I die. I don't know when it'll happen. Uh and I'm writing a project now that I really love a lot and that's close to my heart. And I have another project that is going out to um it's going out to studios and producing entities now. It's with new producer Dave Perkle.
Mm.
That's actively trying to get financed. So, you know, we'll see.
Oh, well,
I'm not sitting around. I am right now while we talk, but
oh, that's good to know that you're keeping yourself active with everything.
yeah,
Well, that's it. We've come to the end of the interview.
cool,
Look,
dude.
I want to give a massive thank you for you to coming on, talking about your full career, growing up, wrong turn, everything else in between. So again, a massive thank you.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Oh, good, man. I enjoyed talking with you. You have really good questions, thoughtful questions.
I know you know what, that's the one thing that I actually like to do when I do these interviews. I don't like to watch other people's interviews, because then I think if I watch too many of the same interviews, then I'll just get the same answer. So if you know what I mean. So I like to, like, not watch the interview so I can think of my own questions off my back.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no,
you
I
know,
think that's good. I think it's good when it's organic, you know.
yeah, because, like, if you watch too many of the same interviews, then you're just gonna hear the same answers back all the time. So that's why I try not to rewatch too much stuff. Like,
Yep, I hear you. I hear you.
yeah. So,
Okay,
so
do
yeah,
do I
thank
need to do anything? Yeah.
No,
Do I need to do?
I'll do.
Okay.
No,
So
just leave it with me, and then I'll end it.
okay.
Right. So that is the end of our interview. A massive thank you to Rob Schmidt for talking about Rum 10 and everything else. As always, I am Anthony Movie Mania, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.
Okay. Bye, y'all.